Okay, welcome. Hey, it's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Tonight is our Tuesday night Anyone Can Farm live chat, Tuesday night edition, as I said. Today's the 4th of March, 2025. I wonder what kind of showing we'll have tonight. Probably not too good because I think the president's going to be briefing somebody, but he's going to be on TV. Not sure what time that is. Does anybody know? If somebody knows, type it in. All right, so here it is, early March. We are keeping up with things here and anticipating a really killer summer. I think it's really going to be a good summer. Today was kind of a different day. I had to bring my truck in to get a trailer hitch put on it down to Spears. Oh, by the way, tonight's episode is brought to you by Spears Automotive. Okay, talking to Congress at 9. Okay, well, I'll be able to catch that later. I just wonder, what we're going to hear tonight. I bet we'll hear this never would have happened if I was president. I bet we'll hear that. He says it way too much. So, yeah, and well, a little story about Spears. I needed to get a hitch on this truck that I bought off John. I absolutely love it. It's an 18 Silverado utility type truck, and I absolutely love it. It's changed everything here. And but it didn't come with a hitch on it. So I called him. Oh, he called me this morning. He says the hitch is in, and I said, when can I bring it in? And he said today. So we kind of decided we were going to go over to the fire station and visit with my oldest son. My son Sam is home from the Air Force. Oh, as you know, you may or may not know, Rachel got married last Saturday. So she's completely out now, and she's living up in Boyne City with her new husband, Jared Schmiegel. So her name now is Rachel Schmiegel. It was a good wedding, really good. Really enjoyed it. Had a nice time. Feel it was a little sad, to be losing Rachel, but she's doing what she needs to do, and I think it's a good thing overall. It's a very good thing. So we got Rachel's wedding done on Saturday. That was a huge event. A lot of planning went into it, and then the day of, it was a long day, but when it was over, we came home and kind of licked our wounds a little bit. Had to get back to it. So here it is. So my son Sam came home from the Air Force, and Keith came home too, but he had to leave kind of early to go back. He was only home for a couple days, but Sam is home till tomorrow. I'll be running him to the airport tomorrow. And so we decided to go over to the fire station. Kind of rainy today, so not a good day for working outside. So we went over to the fire station and visited with Kyle for a little bit, and then I went back to Spears. The truck was done, had the hitch on it. They did an excellent job. And then I went to start it. No start. I mean, nothing. So I get out there and I put the hood out. John comes out. What's the matter? I said, I don't know. It won't start. And so they looked it over a little bit and said, I think you need a new starter. So they had to tow it back into the bay. They moved the car out, moved my truck in, put it up on the lift. I sat there for 20 minutes maybe, and one of his guys came over and handed me the keys. You're good to go. So I get nothing but good service from those people. Spears Automotive in Cadillac. If you need to buy a car, or need a car serviced or a tow, they're your people for sure. They're tribe people too. So that kind of took up a good share of my day. Tuesday, me and Frank milk, so we got that done. little update on the dairy facet of our operation. We are doing really well with that. We have more customers now than we have milk. So I put the feelers out, I think last week, that I was looking for another cow. And I got several responses, but there was two that were doable, that would work. One is another tribe member, and they have a cow, and I'm not sure exactly what the situation is, but I don't think they have the manpower to keep up the milking on a regular schedule. And so and she didn't breed back once, so they let me have a pretty good deal on her. So we're going to go get her on Friday. And then there's another tribe member, Chelsea Bowles, who has a heifer that's going to freshen in September. So we're kind of plugging the holes the best we can. And everything is going really good with the dairy. Really good. I'm really happy with the trajectory that it's going. I kind of think that we're going to be at 10 cows a lot sooner than we thought. And that's the way it is. I mean, we got into this for success, and success is there. So I would recommend it to anybody. Raw milk dairying is really, really nice. Really nice. All right. So we got Scott Sano with us. That's a new name to me, I believe, but welcome, Scott. Just Me was with us. Dave Duncan, Pastor Duncan. He's the one that married Rachel, actually. Did an outstanding job. Outstanding. It was a really good service. It was kind of tailor-made to our family. So really appreciate it, Dave. Good job. Yeah, Boyne is very nice, says Scott, right? Yep. Rachel really got a good deal. She is in training to become a midwife. And it's a pretty extensive training. It's about 2 years, and she's got to do some interning with a midwife that's certified or licensed through the state. And so there was a co-worker of the midwife that she was training with down here, actually the midwife that was present when Rachel was born. She was our midwife, and now Rachel's training with her. So it's pretty neat. So she's going to be able to pick her training right back up in Boyne, which is really nice. So it's going to be a great career field for her, I believe. And then Keith Sutton's with us. I saw Keith this week. Not too many weeks go by I don't see Keith. And then Scott, my pleasure to be here. I met you at the Mitten Homestead Conference and love what you and Jill do. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I'm going back again this year. I'm not going to be a speaker, but I'm going to be pulling something off the Friday night before about inspiration. Dave says, easy to do when you care deeply for the bakers. Oh, I'm getting teary here. You see me getting teary here, Dave? No, it was a good time. I don't think nothing went wrong. Everything was very well planned. There was a lot of sorrow on both sides, because Rachel's stepping out of our homes. She's got a friend that she's had since she was about 5, and they've grown up together. And her parents were there helping. And I could see the sorrow on their faces. I could see it. And yeah, nice people. They really helped out a lot with the wedding. They did just about everything. They really did. The Vanderlees. Vanderlee. So we have, something came up during the wedding I got to share. I heard anyone can farm a couple of times. And actually, Rachel's husband met Rachel here, or saw her here, at a class that we gave. And he said it in his mind, that's the one right there. And then he showed up here a couple of times just to buy milk. was disappointed, I think, both times because Rachel wasn't here, and he finally had to call her on the phone and ask her out. Good chap, good lad. But I did hear Anyone Can Farm a couple times. Different, like when the groom, the head groomsman said his thing. He had something in there about it. Anyone Can Farm, and Dave. I think Dave said something about it too. So it's become a part of our lives. Those of us that are into this lifestyle, and it's nothing to really diminish in any way, not in any way, because it's a good thing. But it is a community. It's not just me, it's everybody that's around us working on this project. So, yeah, that was what my day was. And then when everything was said and done, I pretty much came in here, and here I am. But this morning, when I went out the door, I've had something on my mind lately, a problem that I need to solve. And I think about it a little bit every day, and a lot of times you just kind of keep pounding the wall. It's not working. But this morning, a couple of things came to me, and it was not any hardware changes. It was actually software changes. And don't get me wrong, I'm not doing this on a computer, but it was procedural changes. And all the pieces to this project that I'm working on were here on the table, ready to be put together. They just had to be put together in the correct sequence. And it just kind of happened as Frank and I were milking this morning. So I'm the guy jarring the milk, and Frank's milking the cows, and I'm straining and jarring and labeling and putting the milk away and stuff. And it came to me during that time. And I just thought, okay, I've come up with a partial solution to this problem that I've been having. And I don't think I'm quite there yet. But as it came into focus, the solution came into focus, I started to analyze, what is it that, what thought chain, what chain of events usually precede a breakthrough when all of a sudden a solution comes to you, is presented to you or whatever. And it's not like I can go to, on this particular thing, I can't go to a book and open it up and say, oh yeah, there it is. It's not like that. And I won't go into what it is because it's a long story, and it's, nothing bad. I mean, if we have a process that we're doing here that we cannot solve, then we'll drop it. Like if, well, I really want to raise rainbow ponies, but nobody wants to buy them, and you do everything you can to sell those rainbow ponies, but no one buys it, you got to drop it after a while, But this, I just couldn't let go because I could see the value in that process. And so as I analyzed what is the thought process that brings me to a place where I have a breakthrough and I figure something out. Because most of what I'm doing here, it is like stepping stones. I step to one stone, and that's about as far as I can go. That's all I can see. And then I stand there for a little while, and then, I could go on this one or this one, but I don't know which one to go to. So I wait, and then it presents itself that, this is the way you want to go here, right? But I never before analyzed how that process works. Is it just that God says, okay, he's ready to understand this, so I'll give him understanding? Could be. I don't know. Could be. I don't want to take anything away from God, in this. But Nah, I hate to say but. Hate to say but. Maybe I don't need to say but. But this problem has been going on for a while, a good while, like years. And I had a friend call me last week, and he said, just ditch that. You just quit fooling around with that and spending so much time thinking about it and wasting your time. I still couldn't let it go. And I said to Jill last week sometime, the more we keep running into the wall with this, I feel as though when we get to the solution, it's going to be big. It's going to be big. And this morning, it all kind of dropped into place, and I was able to sit down with a piece of paper and write a few things down, draw a few stick figures, draw a few diagrams, and boom, I was there. And when that happened, it seemed like the floodgates opened, and I said, okay, I got to get this done, I got to get this done, and I got to get this done. Then I got to get that hitch. I need the hitch bad, because in order to go get this cow, I have to have a livestock trailer on, and I can't do it without a hitch. So I started to think that, everything comes as it comes, and you just knock out what you can. Some things get left undone at the end of the day that you just can't get, or you get interrupted and you don't get. But still, there's progress every day. There's progress every day. And then at the end of, say, 20 years, it's like, wow, we've made a lot of progress here. Well, it took time. It took time. So, okay, so what's the frame of mind that I think that I need to be in? What is the frame of mind that I need to be in? And there's two things that come to me, and both of them registered pretty good, pretty clearly this morning. I remember a friend of mine saying to me one time, well, when you go to church to learn something, expect a blessing. In other words, expect to understand something that you didn't understand before. And it's just always stuck with me. Expect a blessing, right? So it's almost as though if you seek, you will find. You will find. So in this process, I just wouldn't give it up. And I could see value there, but I just couldn't unlock the complete value on it. And the liabilities to the increase were kind of, sometimes it was more of a liability than it was an asset. Sometimes it was more of an asset than a liability. So it was tipping like this all the time. And it was like, oh, now we got to deal with that. And that would be at inopportune times, and, but there was enough value that I wouldn't let it go. And I'm glad I didn't. And then another thing that came to me, my father used to say to me, just take it as it comes. So if you don't give up on a process and you just keep plodding along, taking it as it comes, you will find the answer to the things. If it's something that you're going to do, if it's something that you feel strongly about, there's sometimes we start a process and then we realize, oh, this is not really good. The further we get into it, we realize, this is not really working for what we do. This is not us. And you kind of let it go. And you think I'm not going to keep that on the front of the stove. I'll put that on a back burner. We can still visit that once in a while, but that is not what we do. And so, but that's not quitting it. That's just making an informed decision to, okay, that doesn't fit with what we're doing. We're going to let that go. I don't think there's anything that we started that we wanted to keep that we had to let go. I don't think we've encountered that. So there's a level of tenacity involved here too in this line of work. You really have to be tenacious. It's like, I'm not letting go. I will not give up. So that's what I came away from this morning. I think that it's important because when people get into this career field, a lot of times they're doing it for the lifestyle. But you sometimes, if you want to be a farmer, okay, now you got to go do farmer stuff, and a lot of it's not really pleasant, and it can be frustrating, and especially when you don't know exactly what you're doing and you have to learn as you go. That can be, it's just more difficult. When I'm doing stuff that I know how to do, it's just, oh, okay, it's just very pleasurable. You run through the motions and you get a good product coming out the other side. But every now and then you hit something that gives you a lot of heartache, and some of these things for us have been, say, like our well, that has given us a lot of heartache until I finally figured out, okay, this is what I got to do in order to make this thing serviceable, because water is so important on a farm. It's very, very important. Of course, I have backups, but my primary water source for the house is the well, and I really need that. And that's mostly behind me. I know there's going to be service going forward I'm going to have to put into it, but the way it's configured now is the way I want it, about 90%. If I could do it over again, I would do it a little different, but it's working well. The well is working well. So things like that. So we titled this today, Smarter Every Day. Smarter Every Day. And I'd kind of like to go over a couple of the things that keep us from becoming smarter every day. And it's usually right here. It's right here. I would say, if I had to make really give an informed testimony about homesteading and small farms, is what we know right now, we have just barely touched the surface. Just barely. And when you get to the point where you say, okay, I know everything that I need to know about this now, or I know as much as there is to know about this, I think that's a mistake. No matter how simple a process is, there's always adjustments that can be made. And then all of a sudden you see something else that triggers some other thought. And if you go into it with the mindset that I know very little about this, even though my peers think I'm an expert, or if they only knew. I know a lot of days I'm just searching through the dark to figure out how we're going to do this. And then as a process is worked further and further, your enlightenment on that process gets greater and greater. And I've said before, it's like a bunch of pieces of puzzle pieces on a table. If you've ever put a puzzle together, at first it's like you find two pieces fit together. Oh, wow, that's good. And then you keep going. And then the last 5 or 10 pieces are kind of easy. They fit in real good. And then you have a finished product. So going into it, thinking that you have nothing to learn, I think is destructive to the thought process of getting smarter every day. You always have more to learn. And I have to remind myself of that all the time. As simple as a process can be, we can always improve on it and make it work better, quicker, cleaner, more profitable, all that stuff. We can always improve on it. And I say that a lot. So That shouldn't be any news to people that listen to me on a regular basis. And sometimes we refer to that as fortifying your position. You know, you can always make your position better. What that means, if there's new people here and haven't heard me say that before, former military background, you go around and you check on your guys, and let's say you've got defensive positions out, you know, say like a foxhole, and they've got a better field of view than you would back at the command post. But you go out and you check on them, and you got two guys that are sitting in a hole not doing anything. It's my job to tell them, you know, you can improve this position. You can fortify this position, make this position better. Well, come on, why should we? Well, if there's a sandbag, one more sandbag here that puts it up another 4.5 inches, and someone takes a shot at you from way out there, long shot, and that bag catches the bullet, that's a good thing rather than catching you. Right? So make the position better. Make it better. If you have time, make it better. Do something. Dig a little deeper, you know, cut some shelves on either side so you have someplace to sit. So one guy can sit and one guy can be looking. And so one guy can actually sit and rest, maybe even sleep a little bit while the other, you know, and you can go back and forth. Put some camouflage out in front of it. Get some of those bushes cut and back there and put them in the front of you. You know, you can make this position better. You might as well. You're just sitting here. So it's like that in this line of work. Every process that we have, we can always make it better. Whether it's maintaining equipment or building things or health of your animals or health of your soil. Right now is an excellent time to get out there and get some seed out on your fields. Excellent time. The frost is heaving, you know, so some of those seeds will get down and you'll get some new species going in your field. Excellent time to improve on what you've got. The other thing, let's see, I just had it. The other thing is when you get discouraged. So discouragement in small farms and homesteading, you know, maybe you're still working a job off the farm while you're getting your facilities up, you're getting your processes going, and you got to keep bringing money in. So you're still working a job off the farm. A lot of people work jobs off the farm for 20 years before they're able to come home. Or maybe you have a good job, but you want to set something up for when you eventually retire. So you've got your second career to come to. That's a good idea too. That's a real good idea. Discouragement is going to come. It's just like if you go ice fishing and you put the flag down, that flag is going to pop up. And when you get the flag coming up, you know that there's a fish has just bit on that. So when discouragement comes, consider it a flag just going up and say, well, I knew this was coming. But what do you do with that? I think especially in this month, it can be discouraging to people. They call it March Madness is coming. And people are waiting for spring, you know, and then all of a sudden you get really cold weather again. And, you know, it can just be discouraging. We have mud now. I have a lot of mud to deal with. I think the best way to deal with discouragement, if you get discouraged and you dwell on it and you keep thinking about it, it's going to quell that whole process of getting smarter every day. Right? So if you know it's coming and you're committed to this, you're going to have to just let it roll off your back. Just like water rolls off a duck's back. You have to let it roll off and do what you can. Do what you can. Maybe you won't get a full day. Maybe you won't get even a couple productive hours out of your day, but do what you can and know it will pass. It will pass. Everything does. And a brighter day is coming. And I tell you what, some of the best things that I've done, things that I've built or processes that I've put together that mean the most to me, as far as facilitating my further development, were done during the most difficult times, the most difficult times. And I can look back on them sometimes and say, yeah, that was rough. That was rough. But if I can make it through that, I can make it through this. If I can make it through this, I can make it through this. So discouragement, when it first hits you, can be tough. And you may want to quit, but just don't. Just don't do it. Just don't quit. Sometimes in the wintertime, I wish the days were shorter so we could go to bed and just be unconscious through this difficult time, and it's cold and you get tired of the cold and get tired of hauling in wood and all that stuff. But there's always a way to look at it and say, well, it could be worse. It always could be worse. So prepare for that discouragement. And when it comes, just say, I've been waiting for you. You're not going to get the best of me this time. Not going to get me. I know that you're only here for a short time. And, I try to look for the things, like if I've got a really difficult day outside, I do what I have to outside. And I'm talking a day when the wind is blowing and it's super cold or rainy and cold and blowing. Those days, I like to treat myself to an indoor job, So if I've got a building that's heated, and it's heated because I'm the one that heated it, I'm the one that insulated it, I'm the one that cut the wood to go in the wood stove, I will do a job inside. And I consider it kind of a treat. Like, crummy day, I feel discouragement coming on. I think I'm going to trim some windows inside. I'm going to take my jacket off, get a cup of coffee from the house, talk to the wife for a little bit, just enjoy an indoor job and not expect too much out of the day. Just don't expect to make too much gain. Brian Jacobs with us. He goes, embrace the suck. Yeah, that's kind of a ranger thing. Embrace the suck. It's like wrap your arms right around it. Boy, does this suck. When you do that, you can always say, well, it could definitely be worse. It could be dropping artillery on us too. Yeah, Ben, he's up in the UP. Yeah, it's long going up there. It's long going up there. We're going to be heading south on Friday to pick up this cow. And down there, they've got open ground, And we probably by tomorrow this time, we'll have mostly open ground here. And I don't believe we're going to get any more snow. There's really nothing. Today they were talking about tomorrow being a rough day, but I think that's kind of past. Let's see. Well, it doesn't matter. I check the news quite a bit. I don't know if you guys do. The weather quite a bit. Always interested to find out what it is in Cupertino. Yeah, it's raining now and 100% chance of rain come 9 o'clock, and it's going to go until all day tomorrow. But it's not cold, so it's good. Let's see. Yeah, so that's it. Getting smarter every day. The longer you stay in this, the better you should be. And expect that to come, but also take it as it comes. And don't take it too seriously when discouragement comes. So that's kind of my message in a bottle right there. was a couple other things that I thought about talking about. Oh, I don't know if people are having this feeling on here, but I see it in some of the other circles that I monitor. It's a little bit of discouragement, a little bit of discouragement on the political stage. And I get it. I get it. But always remember that your sphere that you live in, your biosphere or your homestead, is not directly affected by a lot of those things. And so spending a lot of time getting wrapped around the axle about those things isn't good. And I think it works both ways too. Like when it's really happy out there and, oh, President Trump got elected and everything's going to be great. That's not the time to let up on your homesteading operation. Not by any means. I talked about this a little bit last week. I think it might have been in the consulting call. But early on, when we got here, we were like ducks out of water, fish out of water. We came out of a military community that we understood because we'd been in it, and we came into a civilian community. And this community is mostly Dutch people and Amish. And the Dutch people, I couldn't read them very good. Didn't really know where they were coming from. I didn't like what I saw at first. I thought it was a little opportunistic. And so I didn't embrace that right away. And I still don't embrace opportunism. But, and then the Amish. And we got along better with the Amish, it felt like. And so one time we went to one of their church services. They invited us, so we went. It was kind of interesting. The men sit on one side, the women sit on the other side. And, you know, they were speaking in English they were speaking in their language. And some guy with real bad breath was interpreting, and it is long service. But during that service, the guy was talking, you know, to his peers, whoever was preaching that weekend. I think they swap it around a little bit, but he was talking down on empire building an empire. And so that stuck right here. And I thought, oh, empire building, bad. But then if you know Amish people, they really are invested in building empires, small empires. And so I couldn't quite figure that out. And I finally came to terms with it. And the terms that I've come to is empire building good. Empire building good. So I am building an empire, right? And what does that mean? Does that mean that I'll drive, a Cadillac? No, I don't really want a Cadillac. Does that mean, oh, I'm not going to stay on the farm all the time? I'm going to go to Disneyland. No, I don't really want to go to Disneyland. I'm not going to Disneyland. I don't care to go to Disneyland. That's not my thing. My lifestyle would not change the bigger my empire gets. What does change is my ability, my tools to make things better, to really fortify this position, make things better for my family, make things better for my community, right? Make things better for the people that work for me. We have just scratched that. We have a couple guys working for us now, and it's working out pretty well. And my role changes in that I have to make sure that there's work for them to do. So instead of just working one deep with the boys helping me, now it's like I've got adults showing up here, and I'm paying them by the hour. So I want to make sure that I'm getting my hours, my money's worth out. So I want to make sure there's work lined up for them that is profitable work, right? And the more I am going into this, the better it seems. Like we can get way more done and be way more profitable, because when it's just me, I'm distracted constantly. So I'll get halfway through something and I get pulled off for something else. So that is something that we're going to keep going in that direction, because it's been profitable. What else we got here? Okay, Big Don. Okay, Ben's saying they're going to get 2 inches coming tonight. I'll go with you to get the cow. Keith says Trump is giving a speech tonight. What do you think? I don't know. I'll watch it. Maybe he'll get in a fight with somebody or something. I don't know. It'll be all right. I saw the whole Zelensky thing. That was pathetic. David's saying we may not have open ground for another week. Over 220 inches of snow. Huh. And he's just an hour and 15 minutes north of me. Can you believe that? They get so much more snow in that little belt that they live in there. Snow belt. So I don't know. I think that's kind of it. I don't have a lot on my mind. Is there anything that any of you guys want to talk about here? Yeah, I'm kind of drawing a blank. I did milk delivery last night. So Mondays we take a bunch of milk into town for jiu-jitsu, and we meet people in the parking lot there and we give them their milk. And normally it's Jill that does it because she goes to jiu-jitsu. I don't. And well, where Sam was home, they wanted to go skiing and they couldn't go today because it was going to rain and tomorrow's going to be even worse. So they decided to go Monday. So that meant I had to do milk run. And I got to meet with quite a few of the customers. A lot of them I knew by face, but I didn't know him by name. But there was one guy, and he told me, he says, well, I'm Melissa's husband, and I'm here to pick up milk. And I said, oh, yeah, you're the MD, right? And he says, yeah. I said, oh, yeah, I've heard about you for quite a few years, but I don't think we've ever met. And he says, yeah, same here. I've heard about you for quite a few years too. So we kind of shook hands and shot the breeze a little bit. And I came away from it thinking there was a time when I would be talking to a doctor and I'd be thinking, wow, this guy is way higher up the food chain than me. Almost like when you're in the service and you're talking to a senior officer, you know? And we had a nice conversation. He's a nice fella. And, you know, afterwards, I went and I was sitting in the truck and I was kind of thinking about that. And I thought, you know, the career field that we're in, we're providing milk and meat for his family. And it's something that he cannot do. He is not in that career field. And he's an MD, an ENT guy, I guess. And he knows how to do things that I don't know how to do. But maybe it's me, but I'm seeing the farmer as much higher up the food chain, this type of farmer anyway, than I ever thought. You know, it almost seems like there's no reason why we could not be at the top of the food chain. As I read to you last week, out of Founding Gardeners, excellent book if you can get your hands on it. I don't remember the direct quote. You know what? My wife is there. She'll probably get that book for me if I asked her. Hey, Jill? Joe? Could you grab me Founding Gardeners? I want to revisit a quote that I brought up last week. This book is about our founding fathers and George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams. Yeah, those four. And there's a lot of quotes in there from them. They were farmers first, And we're kind of, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Let's see if I can find this quote again. This was a good one. I know I folded the page over. This is the book. Founding Gardeners. I know I dog-eared it. Here it is. Okay. This was Thomas Jefferson wrote. Agriculture, Jefferson wrote that summer, was the surest road to affluence and best preservation. No, let me start again. Wait a minute. Okay, let me read the whole paragraph. Okay, today it might seem extraordinary that Jefferson risked imprisonment and his life for a few grains of rice. Oh, what this was in those days, seeds were very important to them, and they were bringing seeds from other countries to this country. And apparently he had brought seeds from France, and he, under threat of the penalty of death, he had smuggled as much as his coat and shirt pockets would hold. So smuggling seeds at that time was a very bad thing, under penalty of death. Today it might seem extraordinary that Jefferson risked imprisonment and his life for a few grains of rice, but he truly believed that they might hold the seeds of America's future. Agriculture, Jefferson wrote that summer, was the surest road to affluence and the best preservative of morals. Best preservative of morals. So we, like a lot of things in culture, and I don't want to just point the finger at American culture because other cultures are a bit bastardized as well, but agriculture is not seen as the top of the food chain. It's almost like, oh, the dumb kids stay on the farm. The smart kids, they go off and get trained to sit in a cubicle in Minneapolis. But Jefferson felt as though it was a way to affluence, right? And I believe that. I truly believe that. I mean, I think that just working in this career field, if you put yourself into it, if you really throw yourself at it and you do the best you can, there's a feeling of self-achievement that leads to that affluence. Because affluence, I think, is an inside thing. It's not that people say you're affluent. It's that you feel affluent or you present yourself affluently. All right. We were on the same level, different career fields, but he's got his thing, I got my thing. And I just thought that was kind of cool. I've met quite a few doctors since I've been out of the military, and it's usually been in this setting. Very rarely am I in their setting. We just don't use them that much. All right. Lori Bloink says Founding Farmers. No, it's actually Founding Gardeners. It's an excellent book. It tells a lot about the revolution and how agriculture fit in to the revolution, because it surely did. Okay, Abundant Living says we are, David, first Saturday in May. Gotta get the word out now that the dust is settling. Would love to have Duncan family representation. I think this must be about. Oh yeah, David's saying, are you all doing seed exchange this year? I want some fartichokes. Fartichokes. Yeah, that's the next thing that's coming. As Jill says, it's going to be the first Saturday in May, and that's a really good time. We open the farm up. Everybody's welcome. We have food and stuff like that, and then we exchange seeds, seedlings, chicks, chickens, whatever you got that you want. If you want to bring calves, you can bring No, probably don't bring calves unless you talk to me about that, because we have to make room for you. But it's just, if you've got more of stuff than you need, bring it. I love to tell this. Jordan Buck brought a bunch of Jerusalem artichokes last year to exchange. Nobody wanted them. And so when everything was said and done, he says, why don't you take them? So I planted them, and boy, do those things grow. And I like them too. They're really good. They call them fartichokes because they give you lots of gas. My kids love them. Affluence and freedom. Yeah. Two very precious things. Brian Jacob, he's always got some interesting things to say. Like, I stand with Ukraine. That was too much. I stand to urinate, he says. Yeah. It used to be said that artists were the most dangerous because of the class crossover. I think we small farmers are right there. Yeah, it is. It is a crossover, isn't it? It is. How about that? And it's getting stronger all the time. And I don't know if that strength is. I mean, maybe this administrative change that's happened is giving us a little bit of a tailwind, but I haven't seen anything yet. I don't know what they could do. I really don't. I don't think small farm suppression is going to be solved by them. It needs to be solved by small farms. You are American citizens, and you are living in a country that is governed by a constitution, and that is really what your government entities can't do to you. And there's nothing that we're doing in farming that's any of their damn business. So if you stay out of contracts with them, you're on your own. Don't expect anything from them, but they certainly don't have any authority on your property. That's just the way that is. That's a deep subject, and you have to know where you have authority and where they don't have authority. And it takes a while to really understand it. But normally what happens is people get visited by somebody, and then they call it a raid, and they're asked to get in some sort of licensing agreement, and they feel like they must, but you don't. And if you don't, then you don't have a contract with those people, and you're on private property, and they don't have to be there if you ask them to leave. So it's really as simple as that. The way I put it that makes a lot of sense is just deny them access. They have no access to you. They send you a letter, call you on the phone, hang up. They want to talk to you? No. Why? Are you going to come and help me? No. You're only calling me because you want to control me. So I don't want to have a conversation with them. It's not like they can come and arrest you. They don't have arresting powers, right? You're not doing anything illegal, or else you'll get the state police come. And by the time they come, they're just going to put the cuffs on you if you've broken laws. And Department of Agriculture has lots of little rules that they'd like you to follow, but if you don't follow them, it's no big deal. There's nothing they can do to you. Just threaten you and intimidate you. But let's be big people here and know who we serve and what we serve. All right, well, maybe if there's nothing else, if anybody's got any parting shots, I will comment on them, but I think I've gotten my point across. Yeah, like I was saying, take Sam to the airport tomorrow, and Rachel's out. So now what once was a mom and dad with 8 kids is now a mom and dad with 2 kids. So a lot of water's gone under the bridge. And farm building and family building, they go hand in hand. Relationships go hand in hand with that. There's a lot of bumps in the road, but you just got to take them and keep going. Don't let anything slow you down. Don't let anything stop you. Things are going to slow you down, but don't let anything stop you, and never give up. It's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Remember, anyone can farm. There will be no consulting call tomorrow night. It's our week off. And I'll be talking to you next Tuesday, unless something comes